Welcome into the Explainer. All right, let's just get right into it, because today we are breaking down a narrative of folklore, dark magic, and ultimate deception that is, honestly, it's pretty terrifying. We usually think of ghosts as these mindless entities, right? Just acting out of pure rage or sorrow. But what happens when a haunting is actually a meticulously calculated, multi-year conspiracy? Today, we're going to unpack exactly how this terrifying trap was set. Let's start deconstructing the chilling tale of the woman in red. We won't meet in the next life, but in this one. I want you to keep this chilling vow in the back of your mind as we go through today's analysis. What's really fascinating about this statement is how it immediately establishes the incredibly high stakes of our story. This isn't about some spirit just moving on or finding peace in the afterlife. No, it's an absolute anchor to the physical world, a promise that defies death itself. It tells us right out of the gate that someone or something is refusing to let go, and they are perfectly willing to warp the rules of reality to keep that promise. Which brings us to the core dilemma of our story. Think about it. What would you do if the person who came to save your child was actually the one sent to destroy them? It's a heavy question, but it perfectly illustrates this psychological horror at the center of this tale. As we break down the source material, you'll see this isn't just about cheap jump scares. It's about the complete weaponization of trust. When a family is pushed to their absolute limits by something they can't even comprehend, they reach out for a lifeline. But what happens when that lifeline is actually a noose? Okay, phase 1, the inciting incident. You know how every good trap requires the victim to walk right into it of their own free will? Well, it almost always begins with a vulnerable target, an ignored warning, and that classic youthful arrogance. Here's exactly how that fateful night unfolded. It starts innocently enough, just a midnight birthday celebration at a local canal. But crucially, our protagonist, Pawan, explicitly ignores his mother's frantic warnings about the location's dark history. And the canal is notorious. Several people have literally vanished there in recent years. But peer pressure wins out. Things then go wrong very quickly. The friends get spooked by something in the dark, drop their stuff, and bolt, totally abandoning Pawan. Left alone in the dead of night, he comes face to face with a weeping, unseen entity. When Pawan is finally discovered by his parents the next morning, the physical toll is just absolutely terrifying. This isn't just your standard spooked kid scenario. Actually, scratch that, it's way worse. Pawan is trapped in absolute, unbroken silence. His frantic parents, Kusum and Hershit, find him completely cold to the touch, just staring blankly without even blinking. And perhaps most disturbingly of all, his back is covered in severe physical scratches. So, the crucial takeaway here is that this possession isn't purely spiritual. It is violently manifested in his physical body. The trauma has locked him entirely inside his own mind. Moving on to phase 2, the false savior. So the parents are completely desperate, quickly realizing modern medicine isn't going to fix supernatural scratches and catatonic shock. But before they can even seek spiritual help, they get undeniable proof of what they are dealing with. Pawan's friends cautiously return to apologize and grab the phone they dropped when they ran away. They power on and they find this. A photograph showing a faceless woman dressed in a bright red bridal outfit sitting right there inside their car. Literally the smoking gun. This chilling visual confirmation is what prompts Kusum, the mother, to immediately summon the local pandit, a supposedly holy man who claims to know exactly how to handle these dark forces. When the pandit arrives, his immediate diagnosis is incredibly specific and honestly very authoritative. He states, the spirit's memories have shocked his mind into a deep trauma. He explains that the ghost has flooded Pawan's mind with her own tragic memories, causing this severe catatonic state. He then prescribes a very specific ritual at the exact location of her death to free both the boy and the spirit. Notice how smoothly he takes control of the narrative here? By positioning himself as the absolute expert, he ensures these desperate parents are going to follow his instructions without a single question. Which brings us to phase 3, the escalation. Following the pundit's advice to just wait, the boy remains totally mute for days. But when that silence is finally broken, the haunting escalates into a highly active, aggressive threat. After days of being totally unresponsive, Pawan suddenly runs to his mother and he's speaking perfectly clearly. But he isn't asking for food or comfort. No, he violently demands his mother's own wedding dress. When she hesitates, he snaps, declaring he is coming to take Janvi tonight. It's an incredibly terrifying moment. The spirit is speaking directly through Pawan, aggressively demanding a bridal outfit to fulfill this unrequited, desperate desire. The entity is quite literally preparing for a wedding. Okay, so who exactly is Janvi? The tragic folklore fueling this haunting is split between the past and the present. In the past, Janvi was a young woman who eloped with a lover from a different social class. As they were about to marry at a temple, a mob ambushed them. They violently dragged her lover away, and she tragically died waiting for him in her bridal attire. Now, in the present, her tormented spirit wanders that very canal. She's trapped in the moments before her wedding, endlessly seeking a groom to complete her unfinished ceremony. It perfectly explains why she targeted a young man like Pawan in the first place. But there's an entirely different, much darker element at play here that the parents are completely blind to. It's tantravidya, or dark magic. The source material refers to this as ancient occult practices used to manipulate spirits, control souls, and actually alter fate. Crucially, these high-level dark arts often require, you guessed it, a human sacrifice. Keep this in mind because it's the hidden engine driving this entire nightmare. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill ghost story anymore. It's a highly calculated occult operation. All right, phase 4, the climax and betrayal. The parents, terrified by Pawan's manic obsession with the wedding dress, blindly trail him out of the house and into a desolate field in the dead of night, strictly following the Pandit's orders not to interfere. And here is where we get the massive plot twist regarding the two faces of the Pandit. The Holy Savior offering spiritual liberation for a possessed boy? It's a complete lie. The horrifying reality is that he is actually a dark magic practitioner, and more importantly, he's Janvi's lost lover. He is the exact same boy dragged away by the mob all those years ago. He didn't die. Instead, he spent years wandering, mastering Tantra Vidya specifically to bring his beloved Janvi back from the dead. This reveals just how deeply the parents were played. Let's break down exactly how this meticulous plan worked. Step 1. Lure a vulnerable vessel. Janvi's spirit easily traps Pawan at the canal. Step 2. Bring the vessel to the death site. The Pandit manipulates the desperate parents into letting Pawan walk to the field entirely uninterrupted. Step 3. Extract the life force. The Pandit performs his ritual, but definitely not to free Pawan. It's to drain his life. Step 4. Transfer the spirit to a physical form, the ultimate goal. The parents were completely manipulated into delivering their own son to the slaughter, acting as totally oblivious pawns in a lover's dark resurrection. The conclusion of the source material is just one of absolute emotional devastation. As the desperate parents finally figure out what is happening and try to intervene, Janvi's spirit easily paralyzes them. They are forced to watch helplessly as the Pandit sacrifices Pawan. The ritual is completed, the dark magic works, the enchanted water is poured, and Janvi is resurrected into a human form. The reunited lovers smile at each other, hold hands, and simply walk away into the night, leaving the completely shattered parents behind with the lifeless body of their son. It's a truly chilling finale that just completely subverts every expectation of a happy ending. So the crucial question I want to leave you with today is this. If the monsters are the ones offering salvation, how do you ever escape the trap? This story fundamentally questions the nature of trust, the blinding power of desperation, and the incredibly dark depths of folklore. Thank you for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning what you see out there, and I'll catch you next time.